Are you a company which has undergone restructuring under the extant guidelines and now want to come out of this nursing by paying right of recompense? Are you a lender which has restructured a borrower account and now looking for completing the restructuring process by recovering ROR for the concessions extended? Then look no further, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Yash Shah. I am a part of the leadership team at SJA, a 40-year-old organization which has prepared, appraised, implemented and monitored countless accounts under various restructuring schemes of RBI, CDR, SDR, ICA, S4A, generic restructurings under the IRAC of large ticket sized accounts. After successfully structuring the ROR and restructuring exit proposals in the last 1 year of 3 notable groups spread across the country and having an average debt of 300 to 500 crores each and involving, amongst others, the top 5 banks of the country, we thought of making this video as a guide to demystifying the niche concept of ROR, that is, right of recompense. So let's start. So first of all, what exactly is right of recompense or ROR? Whenever any company undergoes restructuring from banks and financial institutions under any specialized scheme or even the generic schemes of RBI, one of the various conditions for its successful exit from the nursing package is payment of recompense amount to the lenders. The recompense is nothing but a form of compensation which is paid to the lenders in lieu of various sacrifices which have been made by them in the restructuring package. Number 2, what you need to understand, what are the various heads under which ROR is to be calculated. So as per the available guidelines on the matter, the ROR calculation is to be done under 8 heads, namely principal waiver, interest waiver, reduction of interest rates on existing principal debt, conversion of debt into debentures or preference shares, carving out of a WCTL, carving out of a FITL, reduction of commission in LCBG, and finally, extension of new loans at concessional rates of interest. All the above 8 components involve an element of concession, relaxation, or sacrifice which is made by the lender to revive the company which has become sick, and hence a head for calculating of recompense. Number 3, what are the key inputs for calculating ROR? To start the ROR calculation, first of all, your team needs to collate a series of critical inputs which are required for the modeling process. This includes a benchmark rate charting of all the associated lenders during the entire period of nursing. For example, if there are 5 banks whose pre-restructuring sanctions are linked to the base rate and there is a nursing period of say 10 years, we need to chart out the base rate for all 5 of these lenders for a period of 10 years. It can be base rate, it can be BPLR, or it can even be the MCLR. Whatever benchmark is there in the pre-restructuring has to be charted out for the entire period of nursing. Point B, you have to collate all the master dates, the important dates associated with the restructuring package at one place. Reference date, cutoff date, approval date, documentation or the MRA date, the start date for calculating recompense, the trigger event which has triggered the ROR. There are about 4 or 5 trigger events which may trigger the ROR. That needs to be identified, which will help you to calculate the end date up to which ROR is to be calculated. Point C, you have to calculate bank-wise, facility-wise, pre-restructuring rates including the benchmark plus the spread for each bank, for each facility. Below this table, you have to tabulate the facility-wise, bank-wise, concessional rates which have been sanctioned under the CDR package. This will be your master data for all the interest rates which are required for the calculation. Point D, calculate the average facility-wise rate benchmark plus appropriate term premium, credit risk premium for the 4 major lenders. Why 4? Because the guidelines say you have to take the average of the 4 major lenders. So in case of an arrangement where you have 20 banks or 15 banks, financial institutions, you have to take only the top 4 for your pre-CDR rate and you have to average them out for each facility. Point E, collate the pre-restructuring and post-restructuring limit liability of the company bank-wise and facility-wise. This will be a major control point for you to ensure that the entire banking exposure which has been restructured is covered in your calculations. Last input which you need is that you need to collate the interest actually paid under the restructuring package from, this can be done either from the bank statements or can be done from the GL dumps of the SAP which is being maintained by the company. Whatever is convenient for you, you have to collate this amount bank wise, facility wise and year wise. In case there are 10 years of nursing, you have to draw out this table in Excel for all of these 10 years. Once you are done with this, you have all the critical ingredients which you need for proceeding with the ROR calculation, which is our step 4. So now you have the inputs, you have to do the processing. The first processing which you need to do is that from the interest actually paid under the restructuring package, you have to back calculate the average principal on which that interest has been paid. Over here, you will use the CDR rates, which will help you to understand what exactly was the average principal on which that interest has been paid. Second point, now that you have the average principal on which interest was paid during the restructuring package, you have to apply the average of the 4 major lenders pre-restructuring rate to calculate what would have been the interest that would have been paid by the company had no concession been extended to them. So you have two components. First, interest actually paid under the package, the restructuring package, and the interest payable on the average underlying principal based on the average rate of 4 major lenders had restructuring not taken place. Now the difference between these two is nothing but the right of recompense. It is the ROR amount which you will get on an yearly basis. Your Excel sheet will throw that out as an output when you do a difference between these two heads. You will get an yearly ROR for each bank, for each facility. Now the final step as per the guidelines is that this yearly ROR will be compounded, because say for example the nursing ran from 2010 to 2023. For 13 years the company was under this nursing. So when you calculate the ROR for 2010, 11, 12, 13, as per the guidelines, these amounts have to be compounded to 2023, which is the exit date of the restructuring, and this compounding will again be done at the average rate of the top 4 lenders of the various facilities which are there. Do note that this particular step will significantly increase the ROR amount from the base amount, and because compounding is involved. Now the last step in ROR, which is the most important. See, all the steps before this were all mathematical in nature. They were straitjacket in nature. Now the last step, step number 5, you have to calculate a sustainable ROR which is acceptable to all the stakeholders. So as I said, the above was strictly mathematical model for calculating ROR, and it may not always be possible to practically impose this amount on the borrower company because this amount may be high. And the company has just come out of restructuring, has just revived itself into sustainable operations, and we do not want to impose such an amount that the company becomes sick again. So what we need to do is that our technical team, our commercial team, our legal team, they need to sit together and structure a techno-economic viability study to understand what percentage of ROR which has been calculated can actually sustainably be imposed on the company, be recovered from the company, so that it is a win-win for all the stakeholders. Also, and most importantly, what you need to understand that when it comes to right of recompense, more than anything else, more than the calculation, more than the TV study, it is in fact a big subject matter of prolonged negotiation between the two parties, that is the lender and the borrower, because obviously the borrower wants to minimize the ROR, the lender wants to maximize this ROR. This process, in our experience, gets significantly expedited if a knowledgeable and experienced intermediary with a track record for negotiating and mediating similar cases in the past, runs the negotiation process, keeping in mind the interest of both the parties. So I hope the above guide will help you in your endeavors for calculating the correct recompense amount and getting the same approved from all the stakeholders to facilitate a smooth exit from the restructuring package. Please subscribe to this channel to get regular updates on more such content, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.